Finally tonight, as we head into the last weekend of 2014, those headlines we brought you every night. Here's World News Tonight anchor David Muir.
It was the worst Ebola outbreak in history. More than 16,000 infected in West Africa and more than 7,000 dead. That first case diagnosed here in the U.S. 42-year-old Thomas Eric Duncan with family in Texas, visiting from Liberia. He would later die. Others would contract the virus as well.
And good evening tonight from Atlanta. Just as we learned, the other nurse infected is now being rushed out of Dallas, too.
Those two nurses caring for Duncan quarantined, treated, and eventually cured. Ferguson, Missouri. 18-year-old unarmed Michael Brown is shot and killed. Shot 6 times by police officer Darren Wilson. The shooting sparking violent demonstrations, standoffs with police.
You must leave immediately.
No probable cause exists.
The grand jury deciding officer Darren Wilson would not be charged. The decision not to indict incites protests across the country.
I'm minding my business, officer.
And then the case of Eric Garner in New York, put into a chokehold, caught on tape.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Another grand jury deciding not to indict. And another wave of protests. The world would watch the threat of ISIS grow, spreading their message of hate for America.
We are an Islamic army.
With the barbaric beheadings of several American journalists, including 40-year-old James Foley. U.S.-led airstrikes now aim to strike back at ISIS in Iraq and in Syria, where the war rages on there, too. The youngest victims, the Syrian children, some of them refugees for 3 years now, ripped from their schools and their towns.
Many of them, instead of going to school in the morning, come here to the fields. Just one of the many tractors unearthing another row of potatoes. And you can see before the dust settles, the children gathering here with their bags to fill them with potatoes. In many cases, they're now the sole breadwinners.
And to one of the biggest mysteries of the year, what happened to Malaysian Airlines Flight 370? The plane leaving Kuala Lumpur, heading to Beijing, carrying 251 people. It suddenly goes off the radar. They are never found. Soon, Americans would turn to something else. The history just made President Obama and Cuba's President Raul Castro announcing at the same time that the U.S. is restoring full diplomatic relations with Cuba.
Will you visit Cuba in your final 2 years as president?
You know, I don't have any current plans to visit Cuba.
Not ruling it out?
Let's see how things evolve.
And the clock is ticking, especially if you have your eye on an Apple Watch. Perhaps the biggest tech moment of the year, the first new product from Apple since Steve Jobs, and we were the only ones allowed backstage.
Can I see yours?
You can see it. It's unbelievable.
Tracking your vital signs, your blood pressure, even your heartbeat.
Wow. Nice to get to know you, Rhonda.
Nice to get to know you, too.
The next big thing, the next big story, just a heartbeat away in 2015.
Big year of news. Thank you so much for watching 2020 and Nightline tonight. GMA, first thing in the morning. I'm Tom Yamas in New York. For David Muir and everyone here, have a great weekend.